Hi guys, this is Ms. Kissinger and welcome to section 7.1. Today we're going to do areas of parallelograms in triangles. Now the first thing I want you to do is notice that this is a parallelogram, and I'm going to take this right triangle right here and I'm going to cut it off and put it on this side. Now watch, once I connect this, it now makes what shape? Hopefully you said a rectangle. So my area formula for a parallelogram is going to be the same formula as it is for a rectangle. So area is going to equal base times height. Now, my height is going to be this dotted line, or my height could also be this line right here from the top and straight down to make a 90-degree angle at the bottom. Now, we don't always have to call this height. We can also call this altitude. And now we have two bases. This is my base, and this is also a base. Okay, so now if we're looking at this triangle, or this rectangle, or parallelogram, I'm sorry. If we're looking at this parallelogram, my height is no longer inside. I mean, I could draw one right here. This could be my height. But I can also draw my height out here on the outside. All I have to make sure is that I go from one point and then I'm 90 degrees to the other point. So this right here would be my altitude, and then this would be one of my bases, and this is my base. Now, my base of my parallelogram has to be perpendicular to the height. Now, it is perpendicular to the height, meaning my base and my height make a 90-degree angle. So 90-degree angle, 90-degree angle. Now, the altitude or the height connect my parallel bases. So my bases, these two things are parallel. My height is connecting the two bases. Alright, now let's do a couple examples. Example 1 says that my height here is 9 and my base is 12. And if my area equals base times height, then I'm just going to have area equals 12 times 9, which is 108 meters squared. Now remember, area is always squared, because if I were to draw a whole bunch of little squares, my area would be the number of squares that I have inside my figure. Now, let's do the next one. If you'd like to pause the video and do the next one without me first, that would be wonderful. But if you're still confused, we still have area equals base times height. Now, this is my height. This is a diagonal line. If I were to measure how tall I am, I would not measure in a diagonal line. It would be straight up and down. So my height is 8 and my base is 11. So I have 11 times 8, which is just equal to 88 inches squared. Okay, now moving on. Area of a triangle. We already kind of talked about area of a triangle, and we know that the area equals base times height divided by 2, or 1/2 our base times our height. You can write it either way. It does not matter to me. They mean the same thing. Now, if I were to have an acute triangle, my height is going to be on the inside of my triangle. If I were to have an obtuse triangle, meaning I have one obtuse angle, which in this case would be right here, my height is on the outside of my triangle, and it is perpendicular to my base. So if I were to extend my base out, that's what it would be. And if I have a right triangle, so this being my right angle, this part right here is going to be my height, and this part is going to be my base. Okay, now some examples of triangle. So we know that our formula for a triangle is area equals 1/2 base times height. So we have 1/2. Our base is right here. It is the spot in which the height is perpendicular to the base. So this is my base, which is 3, and my height would be inside since it's an acute angle or acute triangle, so times 4. So we have 1/2 of 3 times 4, which is 12, which equals 6. And since we don't know the units, we're just going to say units squared. Okay, next one. We need to notice that this is an obtuse triangle. Now, the base of my triangle is going to be 10, not 12. 2 feet is how much it's extending out. And the height of my triangle is going to be 7. The height, remember, has to be perpendicular to the base. So I have area equals, and if we want to use the other formula, base times height divided by 2, then I would have 10 times 7 over 2. 10 times 7 is 70, divided by 2, which is 35, and our units are feet squared. Now, I want you to do this third one on your own at home, and then show it to me tomorrow in class. Okay, and finally, we're going to do area in a coordinate plane. So we're going to find the area by plotting our points and calculating using the formula. So we're going to do parallelogram PQRS, and it has vertices P, which is 1, 2. So I'm going to go over x1 up to y. So I have here, and then I have, this is P. Sorry. This is P, and then we have Q, which is 6, 2, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up 2, which is here. This is Q, and then we have R, which is 8, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and S, which is 3, 5, so 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now I'm going to connect all of my lines, or my points with lines. So we have this. So we have this nice, pretty parallelogram. Now, we need to find the area. Now, remember that the area is base times height, because it's the same as the rectangle. In my height, we're just going to go from here down and make a perpendicular line. So my height is going to go up 1, 2, 3 units, and this is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. So my base is going to be 5 because there's 5 units from P to Q, and my height is going to be 3 because it's 3 units. 3 units from the base to the top to the other base. Okay, so now I'm going to have area equals our base, which is 5, times our height, which is 3. So our area is going to be 15 units squared. All right. Now, there's one more, and I want you to do this one at home as well and try to figure it out. If you need to rewind the video to watch how I did it again, that would be wonderful, and I will see you tomorrow in class.